You're listening to The Play Pouch. Welcome back, everyone. There's some feedback going on.
Me?
Whatever. So, yeah, let's just carry on. Yes. Hello, everyone. Yes, it's probably you.
Why?
Hang on. Oh, no. I do apologise. It's me. I'm sorry, everyone. This is all new to us.
Hello.
Yes. There's so many things to remember and consider. Yes. So, yes. Hello,
Hello,
everyone.
everyone.
Yes. Okay. So we're doing this little episode to talk about the latest Monster Hunter Wilds trailer, and we're going to sort of try to sort of break it down a little bit, analyze it, see what we think. And how are you, by the way? First of all, you all right, Nick?
I've had better days. Trying to get this thing to work, but
Yeah,
we thrive on, we plod on.
we plod on. Okay, so let's switch over to our main viewer, and we're gonna just sort of hit play there.
You handsome devil, Pete. Look
So I'm wondering which one of these people is the character that we play. Is it the, and does our main character talk?
it would be a first if he does, because he never has before, or she, because we normally play as chicks for some reason, don't we?
So you reckon it's?
I'll take the quite attractive blonde. Why not? That's you. You're the kid. That's you again. Wide-eyed.
Okay, so now the big thing about this is that we get to take out two weapons with us.
Yes, I believe that's going to be the big switch up, isn't it? Giving you very diverse builds.
The graphics look better. I mean, I'm assuming this is in game.
I think it is.
Yeah, it feels like it is. We've got some scary monsters. It feels like they're trying to go for sort of slightly more realistic. I say realistic, and you've got like a big monster with a tongue, but you know what I mean.
Well, what have we got? We can obviously the Palicos are back, which we all expected.
And they talk.
That is new. I don't think they've normally just go meow before, didn't they? So that's trying to see if I recognise any of the monsters. Maybe they don't want to use the ones we're used to in these games. Of course, the roster's going to be similar. They always throw certain types.
Yeah.
I just wonder how they're going to do the open world.
Well, is it going to be an open world, or is it just going to be map based?
I think they may switch it up.
It'd be nice if they did.
Well, this is going to be the most powerful system. I mean, yeah, we all know it will come to PC eventually, like they all do eventually. But console-wise, this is going to be the most powerful system they've ever made one for.
Yeah.
Because obviously World was made obviously for the last gen, and Rise obviously was made primarily for the Switch. So they're going to have more power to play with. Graphically, do I think it's a massive jump up? No. But maybe that's okay. If they're going to make the world a lot more bigger and vibrant, then they're not going to improve the graphics that much. Be able to pull the other stuff off. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think it's acceptable. I think it's more than
okay.
standard. There's obviously more work to do on it, but I think it's great. I'm not sure I want sort of like a desert setting throughout. I'm hoping that, there's going to be sort of different biomes, if you like.
Yeah, I mean they normally have an ice-based one, and there's obviously a lot of desert. But this is probably just maybe the first area you go to. And there'll be like a jungle forest area. There normally is, and then there's normally like a fire cavern kind of area as well. So you'll definitely get those four, I would think. I just wonder if they're all going to be kind of, because you've got to remember is that I think that was one of the reasons why Monster Hunter World did the guiding lands, because I think maybe they were testing, can we have all these in one map? Can we
Yeah.
have all these different biomes in one map? And yeah, the guiding lands in Worlds was it was a much smaller area. But that's what I mean by maybe it was a kind of a prototype for them thinking, okay, so next game we're going to make all these actually linked up. It'd be interesting to see if there's a monster battle that actually goes between maps, as in biomes. So maybe you hunt a monster and you fight him in the desert area, and then
Follow him.
maybe he flies off and you have to go to the like the ice area to finish him off. So that'd be interesting if they do stuff like that, and I can see them doing it.
So, do you think that there's going to be new weapons, or do you think they're just going to stick with the 14 or whatever it was that they had?
I think they'll probably stick with a full team, but being able to dual wield. I say dual wield as in like you're only able to use both weapons at once, but there'll be certain builds I'd imagine where there might even be new armor skills which take the best skills from both different weapons and put them in just like one armor slot. Like I can see them being a sword and shield, and then a great sword combo, for example, and there can be certain armor skills maybe that be around that. So
Yeah, I want to be able to have the choice to just take out a single weapon though, and have like armor skills that complement that.
yeah, that'll be interesting. Yeah, whether or not if you are required to take, I mean, just because you take a second weapon, I guess doesn't mean you have to use it, but whether or not there's going to be certain skills and stuff and armor pieces around a combined two different types of weapon. But that would be a lot, because obviously you've got 14 different weapons, and each weapon's going to have 13 different combinations. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be paired alongside. So that's quite a lot. Could they do it? Yeah. We'll have to see really regarding how the armor skills fit into taking two weapons out, or like you say, if you don't have to, maybe you can just take one weapon out, but maybe it just gives you the option to switch it up.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of always having to take two out, but we'll see. I mean, like it might be a blessing.
I mean, I can see some. I mean, looking at the characters I played in Rise, so I know you generally stuck with one, but I played three characters, I would say, in Rise: the bow, the hunting horn, and the glaive to a much lesser degree. So I could see myself, well, if I go with my archer and hunting horn for argument's sake, then technically what I could do is once I rolled up to the monster, I'd get my hunting horn out, play all the songs, and then switch to my archer. So I've buffed myself and buffed my teammates. But then I'm primarily going to be playing as the archer until the songs wear off, and then once the songs wear off, I'll go back to. Do you know what I mean? So that's combining the two kind of weapons. So I'm getting the benefit of the buffs, but I'm still doing most of my DPS as an archer, if it works that way. So that's how I'd like combo those two, for example. So you have to find yourself another weapon, Pete, that goes along with dual blades.
Well, it's dual blades and glaive, but I wasn't overly happy with how they nerfed the glaive.
Well, yeah, the monsters hit you out of the air quite easily.
Yeah, I didn't like that. It's just like, well, you're just basically negating half the fun of the glaive, and I hope they rectify that. We'll have to see. But if they haven't, then I'm gonna have to choose a different weapon. One that sort of, I don't know. It's the only real one that gets me in the air. So I'm going to be really annoyed if they keep.
Well, I'm seeing we're watching obviously the trailer kind of on repeat, and there's a little bit that I just saw where the character's riding on the mount. We're not sure what the mount's going to be called. It's not the dog, is it? So it's a new mount.
Hmm.
And he's shooting his that looks like a gun. So one of the two guns, bow guns. So if that's very powerful. If he actually can ride around shooting your bow gun, that's going to make them even more powerful. Those that could be
Yeah.
really. So that's something that is new because obviously you couldn't do that before. Whether or not you can use melee on your mount, I'm assuming you probably can. So that means you actually can use your mount in combat properly.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, do you think there's going to be an attempt to have a decent storyline this time round?
no,
No.
because they never have, dude. They never
Yeah.
have. The fact that it looks like your character can talk, I'm literally shocked at because that's like breaking new ground for this series.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. They do seem to be looking at some of these cutscenes. They do seem to be. Maybe there is a bit more of a story, but that's not saying that much considering there was virtually zero story. So maybe they've gone from 0 to like 2.
And it,
Um,
it definitely feels like there's more voice acting in it. I mean, we'll have to wait and see when the final product
well,
comes out for that. But
this is probably going to be Capcom's most expensive game they've made, and probably will be their most successful game, unless it ends up being. Well, you never know, do you? But most of the Monster Hunter games are pretty good. They don't screw with that much generally. Um, the emphasis is kind of the same. The gameplay loop is kind of the same, and it's an addictive gameplay loop, as we know.
I'm slightly disappointed that I didn't see any big, huge monsters apart from maybe one, which is that big licker that we see now.
They're saving it, bro. They're saving
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So what about release date? When do you think it's actually going to come out? Because didn't World come out in sort of like February of the year, as I recall? It was fairly early in the year. I'm wondering whether it's going to be a similar case for 25 next year.
Yeah, I think it came out January or February, didn't it, World? And
Yeah.
the thing is that Rise also came out on the Xbox anyway. It was ported over in January as well. So maybe that's kind of. I think maybe we're wishful thinking. It's probably going to be more than 7 or 8 months. I reckon we'll probably have it by this time next year, though. I think maybe we could have it April or May.
Yeah. Now
It's,
those.
li- uh, it's literally the 31st of May today, so it literally is the halfway point of the year. So, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I mean, like judging by these big monsters that we can see, I mean, like they're really scary looking. Scary looking. I wonder if that's a sort of a sign of things to come. Maybe they're going to bring more sort of, new monster types, um, rather than sort of bringing out old ones. I mean, we're going to get sort of like the old ones, aren't we, to a degree? But what remains to be seen is how many new ones compared to old ones we get.
I mean, based upon just this trailer we've seen, obviously, um, you're going to have the smaller monsters, which are like wildlife monsters that would sometimes attack you, and I
Yeah.
think some of them are them. As for the actual main roster, I think you're going to have, I think, the same kind of core group, but then I think there'll be a couple of monsters who didn't appear in Rise, like Kirin, for example, our favourite lovely unicorn.
Mm.
So Kirin wasn't in Rise, and it wasn't in the expansion pack either. So that Kirin missed a game. So there's a good chance, for example, that Kirin will be in the game. But some of the ones out of Rise, I don't think will be there.
Yeah.
You'll get the ones like Rathlos, and do you know what I mean, the series staples. But the Malzeno and stuff like that, I think that they won't be there. Those kind of ones, I don't think will be there. Which is fine because Malzeno was a little bitch. So I'm more than happy that Malzeno's in there.
I am definitely liking the upgrade to the physics. You can see like all the hair moving properly, and it looks better than it did in World. Those volumetric effects that we can see, it looks better, and I actually can't wait to get started with this. To be honest, I
Well,
mean,
the thing that I'm noticing as well, Pete, is that Monster Hunter World, one of the things that I thought that did really well was that the wildlife and everything, the fauna and the flora, it looks much more lived in. It looked like more, what you'd expect.
Yeah,
Whereas in Rise, it was all a bit more static. I felt in Rise.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, obviously it was designed on a weaker machine, and that is obviously a part of it. But it looks like from the trailer that it's going to be more of like World, whereas it's going to be quite a dynamic with a lot of different creatures probably fighting each other and feeding off each other and doing what animals do.
I
Than
mean,
Rise was.
that's what they do. I'd like to see more of that myself. A lot of fighting going on.
Yeah, monsters actually, doing what creatures would do, which would be obviously preying on each other rather than just fighting us.
Yeah, sort of like the scripted thing. Yeah, I want it all sort of more dynamic and yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and the turf wars as well, which were fantastic in World, were not as good in Rise. I don't think the turf wars were um, anywhere near as good as Rise. Um, so I'm hoping that they're more like they were in Monster Hunter World, and also stuff like the mounting and stuff like that. Um, I think I prefer that in World than I did Rise. So I'm hoping that World goes back to that. Because even though yes, it was fun to take over a monster, I don't know. There was something a little kind of gimmicky about it. I think.
and yeah, the character creator I hope is sort of slightly enhanced as well. Hope it's better. This whole mystery of the clouds that cover the land. I mean, like one minute it's nice and the next minute it's all sort of like misty and foggy and stuff. I wonder if that's a sort of a gimmick to bringing different types of monsters out at certain times. So we have to sort of go out when it's all dark and misty as opposed to when it's bright.
Well, hopefully there'll be a 24-hour night and day cycle. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that should be there. I mean, it was there in World, unless I'm remembering wrong.
yeah.
Um, but no, I mean, like looking at it again, and you see packs of creatures walking around. Um, Again, I hope they interact with each other, and it's not just all just around. They only start moving if the player's nearby, which is what happens a lot. I really do think that these worlds are going to be interlinked. I'm not saying you're going to be you'll be able to run around the whole world, so to speak, without maybe a load screen. Probably not. You probably will have to have a load screen in between zones, I
Yeah.
suppose. But I do think you'll probably be able to move between zones during hunts. I think maybe that just hunting the monster in that one zone. Maybe they'll add something different, like the expeditions. Maybe they'll add a bit more to the expeditions this time, so you literally can go out and travel the whole world, kind of, so to speak, and discover things. Another thing to bring up, obviously, is the investigations, which I really enjoyed in World because it really added quite. I think added quite a lot of replayability. Or in Rise, I think that whole remind me what it was called again, Pete. The system where the end system where
Yeah,
they were like infected or whatever, but it was
yeah.
I forgot.
I honestly can't remember, and that's
Yeah,
shameful. But
yeah,
I know what you mean. It came in way too late in the game, didn't they? Because fans
mm,
obviously expressed that they wanted that, and so they
yeah, yeah.
retrofitted it in, didn't they?
Whereas the way it worked in obviously World, where you would pick up
And we seem to have lost our host. Never mind. I assume he's going to get himself back. As we said at the beginning of the video, we are trying out a new system, and it looks like Discord is kind of screwing up on us, and so we're hoping that we're going to get him back at some point very, very soon. So yeah, I mean, like it's a great looking cinematic. I love how the visuals look, and the dynamics, appearance of it all. I mean, I'm hoping that it is all going to be very much dynamic. As Nick said, the flora and the fauna, and stuff like that. I hope that it's all, not scripted. I hope there's plenty of monsters like there was in Monster Hunter World, like, consistent expansions, more adding of monsters over the time, loads of different costumes and armors and stuff like that. I'm dreading the difficulty. I'm really dreading it, because Rise was very much a sort of easier, slightly easier, and I am sort of slightly worried that this is going to go back to Monster Hunter World levels of difficulty, and that's going to be it's going to be hard for me. I remember losing sort of like my mental health with Monster Hunter World, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen again. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that. I am sort of going to give a prediction that it's going to be sort of like January, February time of 2025. So yeah, what are you guys going to play? What weapons are you going to play with? Are you going to be are you going to be the Great Sword? Are you going to be dual blades like me? I like the dual blades. It's very, very swift and quick.
I appear to have lost connection, Pete.
Yes,
I am back now.
I've just been filling for you. So
I was talking to myself probably for 5 minutes before realising, oh, Pete's kind of really quiet. Oh dear. Okay, well, we're still learning. At least I am.
Yeah, Discord is proving to be a bit of a pain in the arse.
Yeah, it kicked me out. Sorry, guys. I'm back now.
Okay.
What have you been talking about? What are you going to play as? Why are you going to play as?
I've just been talking about various things. My fears about how difficult Monster Hunter Worlds was compared to Rise, and I'm slightly worried that it's going to go back to the same difficulty level as World, which kind of affected my mental health. But we've got things in place now where it's just like, if I start to lose my mind, I'm just going to sort of go, you know what, I'm going to take a break from this for a while.
Yeah, but it can be pretty grueling. I mean, I lost my Ragga, I think, a bit more than you did on Rise, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think I was more affected by some of them, and I think it's just to do with play styles as well. Like I say, Rise was a bit too fast for me. Maybe I'm just getting old, but that's fair enough. So I maybe might prefer them more. I probably want the game to be a bit slower and less arcadey. So I actually am hoping they go in that direction. But in saying so, will that make it harder? I don't know.
I mean, I was doing really well with the dual blades in Rise.
Yeah, no, they were good. I struggled a bit as my archer. I won't lie. I mean, I got through it. I did get through everything eventually, but it was all quite a big struggle for me. I'm not gonna beat around the bush for it.
So what kind of monsters would you like to see? I mean, like, is there anything that you had before that you want to try and fight again, like an upgraded version?
Because of my rivalry with my mate Black Diablos in the original World, I would like to see Diablos. Diablos seems to be one of those monsters. He seems to be in every game. He was in Rise, and of course he was in World, but the Black variant wasn't.
Yeah.
Not being racist, folks. It was called Black Diablos, and it was actually the female version. So the female was actually much stronger. There you go, girl power, than the male version, who was just a normal Diablos. But no, I had such a rivalry with Black Diablos. He kicked my ass a lot. I kicked his ass. It was one of those kind of like, my success rate was like 50-50 every battle. Sometimes I'd win, sometimes I'd lose. So it was a real rivalry with him.
It would be nice to
Uh,
see other variants, like a white Diablos or a red Diablos, who's like a fire Diablos or something
yeah,
like that. You know.
yeah.
Um,
One thing I'll say though, Pete, and you've brought it up, I think, before in our review of World, is that they only seem to have four or five. I'm going to call them ectoskeletons, right? That's the best way I can describe it.
yeah,
So they've got like the wyvern ectoskeleton, right? And as we said, there's way too many wyverns or wyverns, folks, whatever you want to say. There's way too many wyverns in Rise. Way too many of the monsters were that wyvern ectoskeleton. So I'm hoping maybe that they'll. I have a fear. I have a fear that they won't, and we will see new monsters, but with those same ectoskeletons. I do fear that we may see that. But I would like to see them add a couple more different ectoskeletons for different kind of monsters. Maybe like on a snake monster or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Just something that's a bit
well,
rather than
yeah,
seeing more wyverns.
yeah, because it seems to be all based around bipedal or quadrupedal.
Hmm.
And I would, yeah, I agree with you. I'd like to see something that's a bit more spider-like, in terms of the amount of legs. Yeah, different sort of exoskeleton styles, and I don't want certain attacks copied from one monster to another, because there are sort of like a set of attacks. There's like a swiping attack that a lot of the monsters adopt, and they're all sort of like the same. I would like each monster to be 100% unique. We're probably not going to get that, but it would be nice to sort of have that. And as you say, maybe like some snakes or um, what else could we have? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe like
I
some
mean,
more Kirin style, horse-based
yeah.
monsters.
I mean, there is going to be obviously some of the staple roster, so you are gonna get your fanged wyverns because they're in every game. There's like 5 or 6 different classes, like fanged wyverns, and then like flying wyverns,
Yeah.
and then different kinds of like kind of cat type creatures. I forget what they're called. So you are going to get them, but yeah, some new variants of them will be nice, alongside some old classic because. Oh, well, there's like I say, some staples like the Rafflos. There's always going to be a Rafflos. You accept that.
Yeah.
Probably always. There's always going to be a the Tyrannosaurus Rex monster. I can't remember his name. There's always going to be certain ones.
Oh, Anjanath. Yeah.
Yeah. There's probably always going to be like a Diablos, just because they're the staples of the franchise, and that's fine. But as long as there's a decent number of new ones as well, then that's all good.
Yeah.
No, mate, I am looking forward to it, and we don't look forward to that many games nowadays. So if there is one to look forward to, we should roll on 2025. I know that you and me are going to play it. We'll try and get Alan into it.
Well, if he's not interested, he's not interested. I don't blame him, because it is a really heavily involved title, and
I have to sink quite a lot of time into it.
yeah.
Um,
So yeah, I mean, like if there's nothing else you want to mention, I mean, I think that's kind of probably about it.
yeah, not really. I hope that it runs. I hope there's a performance mode because you know what I'm like with my 60. I hope it runs in 60. Otherwise, that will piss me off.
Oh, there will
Greatly.
be, there will be. I wouldn't worry about that.
So yeah, give me performance mode. Um, I'd like to see the Archer maybe a little bit rebalanced if I'm going to be pedantic, but they probably won't. I'd like
Well,
to see it a little
yeah. Well, if you're listening, Capcom, you have to buff the fucking bow and arrow. You have to sort of change it, because it wasn't fair in Wilds, and it was kind of like a backup weapon in Worlds, sort of like a support weapon, wasn't it? And
just don't make me get right next to him if you're not going to give me some of the melee protection. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's just not fair. It's a bow and fucking arrow, for God's sake. You shouldn't
Yeah.
have to be up the monster's fucking ass just to fucking get a good shot. Yeah.
Other than that, no, I'm really looking forward to it, dude, and I'm pretty confident it will be good. I mean, you can't always say 100%, but they normally have been, and they're going to throw a lot of money into this one, dude, because World made them so much money that they know that this is going to be their biggest title. I know they've got the Resident Evil games, but still, I think that this is their biggest title, at least over the next couple of years. So
Yeah.
I think they'll put a lot of time and money into it, dude. So roll on
Yes.
2025, bruv.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hopefully, we'll get some more info towards the end of this year. They'll release a new trailer or something, and an announcement of an actual date release would be Fabio, wouldn't it? So yeah, we'll see what happens
That'd
there.
be good.
Yeah. All right,
Yep.
everyone. Until the next episode, subscribe, like, do all those things that YouTube requires you to do. It does actually help us out, but it's up to you guys. We're not, going to beg or
No.
do anything. So until the next episode, we'll see you later.
Take care, guys.
Take care.